it's Stephanie with the Rancher's Homestead. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to take you along for our morning routine and kind of show you our new schedule that we're doing. So I have kind of tweaked what we do, how we do it, and just to help everybody get more involved, let our household run smoothly, more specifically, have a peaceful, quiet morning and a good start to our day. So I'm going to take you along with us, show you what we're doing. I have a very special snack we're going to make up here this morning, homemade kettle corn, and then I will sit down and chat with you and let you know how I broke this schedule up and what kind of method we are using. So let's first go outside and get our chores going. Okay, we finished school and got it all done, and we are now moving into a little snack time before we move on with our day and I do other projects. So I'm going to make a really simple and quick snack right now, and that is homemade kettle corn. So there's 3 ingredients to this. You do it right on your stovetop, and it's very simple. So you're going to turn your stove to high, and you're going to put in 1/4 cup of coconut oil. You're going to wait for the coconut oil to melt completely, and then you're going to add in once it melts, 3 little kernels of popcorn, these little popcorn kernels. Now all you're doing at this point is trying to make sure that your oil is hot enough before you put all your kernels in, because you are going to add sugar and kernels to this coconut oil. If your oil isn't ready hot enough for it to turn your kernels into popcorn, then your sugar is going to burn before your popcorn really starts popping. So you want to make sure it's nice and hot. So I just go ahead and put 3 kernels in and wait for them to pop. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stick my kernels in. Now this part's always like makes me jump every time the popcorn pops, but I can see them sizzling in the oil right now, which tells me that my oil is pretty close, but it's not quite hot enough. So I'm going to let it keep going until all 3 of my kernels pop into popcorn, and then I'm going to add in 1/4 cup of sugar and 1/2 cup of popcorn kernels. Add them right in, and you're just going to start stirring vigorously and put the lid on and let them all pop into popcorn, shaking and stirring and shaking and stirring so that your sugar doesn't burn. Whoop. All right, there it is. So I'm going to go ahead and put both of these in at the same time. I'm going to take a spoon here and stir it up. Now I'm going to put my lid on and let all of it work. You want to keep shaking it or stirring it. I usually don't take the lid back off. I just keep shaking it and popping it up and down with the pot. Be very careful if your lid gets hot. You don't want to burn yourself while this is happening. Okay, so it is popping all over the place, and I'm just shaking it as it goes. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off now that I hear it really popping good, because I'm going to pour it directly into my bowl here. Now it's kind of a tricky timing because you don't want your popcorn to burn, but you want to get all your kernels popped. So it's you just kind of got to gauge it. You don't want to let it go too long. You don't want to walk away for sure. It doesn't take very long to do it. Now I'm going to dump it all in. Whoop. I got some kernels in here, but not bad. It's best to immediately run this under cold water or you'll get your sugar to really dry and stick onto this pot and it's harder to clean. Okay, now I'm just going to sprinkle this with salt to taste. Give it a stir. The salt will stick to it because it's still very hot and sticky. You can see it's clumpy. Do a little bit more. And that is it. I'm going to let this cool completely and then just kind of break off the pieces. They get nice and crystallized and hard once it's completely cool. It takes just a few minutes. And we're going to enjoy this as a nice sweet little snack. Okay, let's talk about our morning routine. So I get asked quite often on Instagram just how I do it all. And I'm going to share with you a little secret. I don't do it all. I do not do it all. And there's no way one person can. In our house, we really rely heavily on teamwork. And so we try and do everything as a team, everyone helping each other to make the end result. And so I was noticing that I was getting rather frustrated because I was doing a lot more than usual. And the house was kind of falling apart and different things. And I thought, okay, something's got to give. Either we've fallen off of our schedule or maybe our needs have changed or the way our routine has changed and more responsibilities need to be devved out. And so this is what I did, and I hope that this helps somebody that is in this kind of same spot. I went ahead and I wrote down everything that I need to do before noon. So we homeschool, and so there's a lot that needs to get done in the morning to make our household run on top of the block of time to school the girls. And so I was finding that the school was kind of getting pushed farther and farther out, or that I was running around and I was snappy with everyone because I was trying to do all these things and I knew I needed to sit down and do school and they needed me to help them with school and they're bugging me and tugging on me and saying, Mom, I need you. And I was snappy because it wasn't working and I thought, okay, I need a reset. Obviously our schedule is no longer working or we have different needs now and so we need to adjust accordingly. So I wrote everything down that I do in the morning, from getting up, getting dressed, getting ready, my quiet time when I read my Bible and pray, all the way to breakfast, morning chores outside, starting a load of laundry, any of those things. I wrote everything down that I do before noon. And then I went and I made a block schedule. So that's the method that I'm using, and it's working really, really well. So what I mean by block scheduling is I took sets of time. So I have a block schedule for the girls and I have a block schedule for me. And so I took sets of time. So for instance, for myself, I'm a morning person. I maximize my time the best in the morning. I get so much done. By the afternoon, I start to fizzle out a little bit and it's a little bit hard for me to stay focused. So from 5 to 9 a.m. is a big block of time for me to power through so much stuff. So I get up at 5 a.m. and I make sure that in that block, my first block is 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. and I list in that block everything I need to get done within that block of time. And so that gives me kind of a beginning and an end date in a very short, or a beginning and an end time in a very short time period, so I can just plug in what I need to do, and it needs to be realistic. So if you're only giving yourself 3 or 4 hours, don't pack in 15 things. That's just not going to work. So for me, and my block from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. is my own devotional and quiet time by myself. My blog work time, because that's when I am the most productive, is in the morning, so I try and do my blog work and things that I need to do for this business. I do it when nobody's awake and the house is quiet. I need to get dressed and get ready for the day. I start one load of laundry. I do the room chore. So in our house, we clean by room, and every day of the week, we just take one room and we clean it. And so I do my room chore. I need to eat breakfast and do our read aloud and Bible time at the table with the girls. So that's my block before 9 a.m. I kind of know within my block that I have this amount of time for my devotional. I want to get dressed and ready before I start my blog work because that makes me even more productive than staying in my jammies. I know when I kind of need to end my blog work time to then have time for the room chore, a load of laundry, and all the other things that I have on my list. One thing that I did was I looked at my schedule of all the things that I'm doing in the morning, and I plugged a child into some of those things that I didn't need to be doing that they are very capable of doing. And one of those things was making breakfast. So all three of my girls love to be in the kitchen. They love to cook and bake and do all of those things. So I took that off of my plate. I love to cook and bake too, but I can take a meal off my plate so that I have time for other things, and they enjoy it. So I could very well have kept cooking breakfast and given them the room chore, and that would have been fine, but I know they wouldn't have loved the cleaning chore. I don't specifically love it, but I don't mind it, and I know I'm kind of type 1 in that situation. I really like having a clean home. So flip-flopping those, giving them the breakfast and me the room chore, really frees up time. I'm not doing both, and it really helped to make them excited. I did let them, they get to plan their meal for the breakfast on their day and cook it as long as they get up on time. If they do not get up on time and they lay about and it's very hard for them to get up, then I actually have them just do scrambled eggs and toast. And so that's a very simple meal that they can do. But if they want to try something extravagant or do something and find a recipe and do it, they need to be up on time so that we're eating on time. My goal is to be sitting down at the breakfast table at 8:30, because 8:30 to 9 we do our read aloud, our Bible, we eat breakfast, we sit together as a family at the table. So that kind of is my first block. Now I moved on to my second block, and my second block is from 9 to 12, and that block is for school. For our household, that block is for school. Now this may look different for you if you are not homeschooling, but you are running a business at home. Your work time may not be in your first block, it may be in your second block, and that's okay. You're going to do it to whatever is your needs. However, by doing it this way, it gives me a really short amount of time and what I need to get done in that time. So from 9 to 12 is school, lunch prep, eating lunch, cleaning up lunch. So those things are all in that one little time. If we get done with school at 11 o'clock, everything can get shifted if we want to. We have free time, whatever we need to do, but I know that I have that time, and when that 12 o'clock time hits, then it's time to move on to the next block. The girls' schedule is a lot more loose. They really have 2 blocks in the morning, and then the blocks in the afternoon, unless I call them to help, are pretty free for them to do any time after 12 o'clock. There is a couple times where I will bring them in the afternoon and I need help with a certain project, like prepping for a canning project or anything like that. But for the most part, if the day is nice, I let them be outside and doing their own thing. We typically do not turn the TV on until after dinner. That's kind of a rule of thumb during the week. It keeps our days going smoothly when we don't do that. But for their block, I get them up at 7 a.m. and their block from 7 to 9 is to wake up, get dressed, make their bed, brush their hair and teeth, and do their outside chores. Whoever's day it is does the breakfast, and whoever is not cooking the breakfast is the one that's responsible for cleaning up the breakfast, while I work with the one that made the breakfast's school starting at 9 o'clock. So it kind of sounds complicated, but it's been working really well. If you've watched my previous videos, you would know that I usually start with the youngest child first during school. I've changed that this week, and it's worked really beautifully. So if you've made breakfast, you get to start school first with me. The other 2 clean up the breakfast dishes. So I was getting pretty lax on letting them stay in their pajamas, do their school in their pajamas, all that. Well, it was contributing to our mornings not going well because nobody was wanting to get out of bed. They were kind of lounging about, and then it just is an overflow into just your productive day. Good habits start in the morning, and I firmly believe that, and those good habits start when they're young. And so letting them stay in their pajamas during the weekdays past getting up and getting out of their bed was really actually to their detriment and not helpful to them. So we started this week. You get up, you get dressed, you make your bed, and you brush your hair and your teeth immediately before you go outside and do any chores or anything like that. And it's taken a little bit of reminding, but that has helped so much in the productiveness of our mornings. And that goes for me too. I was staying in my pajamas while I was doing my blog work. It's still very early in the morning. Everybody's sleeping. I'm trying to be as quiet as possible. But it was actually hindering my productivity of my day as well, because I was then trying to wake them up, get dressed, and do all of my morning things, and trying to get them out of bed because I was still in my pajamas too. So if I do my devotional and then get dressed immediately, that helps significantly with your mindset and just the productivity of your day. So then from 9 to 12, they do school. And if they get done with school early, they go ahead and get to play. We do lunch and cleanup. And then, like I said, their afternoon is pretty flexible. They get to have a lot of free time in the afternoon. They know that they need to be quiet and entertaining themselves during the time that I have my work office time. Really, our morning routine is what sets up our day and helps us to stay going. This block method has really significantly helped me to manage my time and to get everything done. And it helped me to see what areas I could give out to the kids and that they could help. And children thrive when you give them chores, when you give them opportunities to jump in with the betterment of the family, especially when they have a lot of free time too. So it's not all just work, 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 work. But if they have something that they're responsible for the betterment of the family, they truly do thrive in that. So I hope that this scheduling and how our morning routine runs was helpful for you. And I hope somebody that was out there, if they needed this and it was something that they have been waiting for, that their mornings are just going disarray, know that it happens to all of us. We all struggle with this. And sometimes it just means you need to adjust your schedule a little bit in your daily routines. This morning routine has been something that has been great, and it's given us a very peaceful start to our day and a very productive start to our day. So I hope this was helpful. Make sure to like and subscribe to the video. Jump on over to the blog and become an email subscriber over there. I send out 2 new emails a week over there with recipes, farm life, homesteading life, and all of the above. I hope this was helpful, and we will see you next time. Take care.